Hey, we're live, guys. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today my special guest is 3GenHustle, Julian. How are you doing, man?
I'm so excited, man. We were just talking behind the scenes here. I got my first pallet.
Oh man, I'm excited for you, bro. So first of all, go ahead and
Yeah, man.
introduce
I'm
yourselves. Go ahead
super
and
hype
introduce.
about it.
Go ahead and introduce yourself first of all, just in case somebody's watching the replay or somebody in the chat don't know who you are.
Absolutely. So my name is Julian. I go by 3GenHustle on Instagram, on YouTube, and I'm a reseller based out of northeastern Pennsylvania, Pocono Mountains to be exact. People know, a little bit of people know my story. I was in the music industry for about 10 years, left the music industry, and now I resell out here. So excited, trying to open up a lot of new avenues for myself in 2021. This week has been phenomenal, man. Just talking about the palette. I have my first employee starting next week. So just trying to scale, man. Just trying to take this to another level.
Awesome. First, I wanted to say hi to some people in the chat. We got Wendy is here today. She says, "Hey, everybody." We have Mo here from the reseller niche. We got Lewis here from Sir Flips a Lot is here hanging out with us. And we got the Flippin' Sports guy is here. And he says, 3Gen hustling today on these live streams. And hey, look who just stopped by. We got Prison of Profit just stopped by. He said, "Let's go, my dude. You already know I'm here." And we got snooze. I want to say snooze along the way. I thought that's what it sounded like, but I just want to. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. So if you guys have questions for our guests, drop it in the chat. I dropped a StreamYard link, so if you want to jump on face to face and ask our guest questions or stop by and say hi, I got the StreamYard link in the chat. So go ahead, man. Talk a little bit about your backstory. How did you first get into reselling? Because you said you weren't always a reseller like your whole life. Like you just kind of evolved into that, right?
I was a reseller. I would say I used to flip cars. Like I used to go to police auctions in New York, Staten Island, the Bronx, Queens, pretty much anywhere. So like when you don't pay parking tickets, your car gets booted up and towed. And then you got like 30 days to come pay all of your parking tickets. And then pay whatever the storage fee is to get your car back. If you don't do that within 30 days, then they auction your car off. So I used to flip cars like that and just teach different people. Like I used to manage a lot of different artists, up and coming artists, just kind of teach them how to rely on other sources of income and not just music when they were first coming up. But yeah, man, I was in the music industry. I did everything from a print magazine in New York City to tour management to branding and marketing for huge names. I think the biggest name I ever worked for was Lil Wayne. So that was like really, really exciting for me because I was a big fan of his. But during that process, I lost myself. I almost lost my family, lost my freedom. Just I went down this crazy path where I didn't recognize who I was, and I quit. I moved out here. I left New York City and kind of started rebuilding with my family. I fell into a crazy deep depression, just like losing my whole identity, not knowing what was gonna happen with my life going forward. And in the middle of that depression, I started watching a ton of YouTube videos and I found reselling. And I've always been passionate about business. I wanted something that I could do with my family, and that fit like every category. It checked off every box. And so I started doing it. I watched Craigslist Hunter and I saw him getting like vintage electronics. Just how life works, right? I lived across the street from a flea market that was open on weekends. So I started going over there, catching a ton of deals, 35 millimeter cameras, a ton of stuff, and reselling it. And that's kind of like my introduction to it. That was about 4 years ago. And I had a job, a regular 9 to 5. I was able to get out of debt, pay off. Like a lot of my credit cards had already been like charged off. So I had to pay like collection companies and pay whatever debts I had, fix my credit. I was able to save up enough money to put a down payment on a house. And it took me about 2 years, 2.5 years to achieve that. I bought my house and then I left eBay for a little while. And then I just came back during the pandemic. And now just trying to make it like a full-time thing and leave my job and kind of grow a little bit more, expand. So in a nutshell, that's how I got started.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Prison of Profit says goals. Wendy is in the chat. She says, "Where in New York are you from exactly?"
So I lived in Queens most of my life. I moved around everywhere, did a little bit of Brooklyn, did a little bit of Manhattan, but I was actually born in Colombia in South America. I came to this country when I was about 6 years old. I lived in Washington Heights when I first moved here very briefly, but most of my life I lived in Queens, New York.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to say hi to Gravity Goods is in the chat and Thrifting After Work. So I wanted to thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out. Oh, and I wanted to say hi to Jennifer Hayes. Jennifer Hayes, I just wanted to say hi. We appreciate you. Everybody in the community does. So I just wanted to say hi. So thanks for hanging out with us today. Sir Flips a lot is in the chat. He says, do you just sell on eBay? Do you sell on any other platforms other than eBay? And Wendy says, I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. Really? I didn't know that. Go ahead.
So that's a setup question, Lewis. I mean, I just recently started selling on Amazon. I was able to take Lewis's book. He released an ebook. It's like $19.99, and I was able to follow that from step A to step Z to sell on Amazon. I think it was yesterday that my store was open because they needed like a copy of my driver's license and all this, but I had already sent stuff in to FBA. As soon as they unlocked it, I sold 3 items right away, made like $58 my first day on Amazon. So I sell there. And then more recently, I started selling like bigger goods. So I got a barn, actually 4 barn doors from Lowe's for about $14.90. I got 6-foot fencing for $7. I bought maybe like 15 of those. And now I'm selling on locals. So Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp. So I'm just trying to really, like I said, just expand and not put all my eggs in one basket, which I think is really important.
Yeah, I'm definitely agree with you that we should all have multiple streams of income. You don't want to get caught up thinking that you have this job or this one source of income and it's always going to be there for you, and one day they close the door in front of you, and then what are you going to do? You still got bills, you still got to eat, you still got to put gas in your car. So that's
Right.
you don't want to just depend on one line of income. We have a question in the chat from Chuck, back road bidder. He says, are you bilingual? He wants to know if you can speak other languages besides English.
Sí, yo hablo español 1000%. That's all I spoke like growing up in the house. My mom still kind of struggles with the English, so I talk to her exclusively in Spanish whenever I speak to her. But yeah, 1000% bilingual.
Okay, cool. We had a comment in the chat from Prison of Profit. He said something about your hoodie. I think he said it looks familiar.
Yo, I started this thing today, right? It's called Flower Fridays, right? So every Friday, what I'm
Okay.
gonna do is I'm just gonna put out somebody that I appreciate and just shout them out. The whole concept is giving people their flowers while they could still smell them. And the first guy I put up was Prison of Profit. I identify with him a lot. He motivates me a lot. Like when I first came into the community, he's one of the first people I started watching. I'm rooting for you, bro. And yeah, man. So every Friday I'm gonna feature somebody else. And that's kind of gonna go into like another avenue. So me and Lewis, Sir Flips a lot, we started a podcast last week. It was our first one. Tomorrow at 4, we're gonna have a second one. It's called Hustlenomics. But off of that, we're gonna branch off, and we're also gonna do a reseller magazine. So I used to have a magazine in New York, and I'm just gonna take everything I learned from that industry, and apply it to the reseller community. So it'll be print. I know print is kind of dead, but I remember when I first started in music, I was part of a 3-man rap group, and we got on 2 magazines. Like the moment we got on and that magazine came out, I was telling all my friends and family, like, look, I made it. It was so exciting. So I think we should have something like that in this community. And so that Flower Fridays is kind of like my entryway into it. I'm gonna start like doing full-length features and interviews on people, and it's gonna be dope, man. I think I'm gonna add something to the community. I've been in the community only for about 2 months, and I struggled with like, how do I fit in here? I don't want to be the regular what sold or thrifting or anything like that. I feel like a lot of people do that. And I feel like I could just take everything I learned from the music and apply it here, and I could be successful.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you on that. I mean, I can sit here and make videos every week and say, hey, this item here sold for $10. This sold for $15. This sold for $20. But like, what kind of real knowledge am I passing on to you for showing you an item that I paid $1 for and sold it for $20? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I can give much more back to the community by bringing on people instead of making the channel just about me, saying, oh, look at me, pay attention to me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I can be like, hey, here's 5 people I brought on this week that are all out here doing their thing, killing it in the community. Let's bring on other people and celebrate other people. So when you're talking about give people their flowers while they can still smell them, I really relate to what you're saying, because it's like, man, there's so many people that you know, they give someone a eulogy, talk about how great this person was. They dead. So it's kind of like, you know, you talking all about how great this person was. They can't even, they're not even here to hear it. So I definitely can relate on that. I just wanted to ask you a few questions, man. Go ahead and talk about your YouTube channel and talk about your new your all's like podcast that you guys started recently. Because if you guys don't know, I was one of the guests on their channel last week, wasn't it? So go ahead and talk a little bit about that, about how you guys came up with it, what your premise of the channel is, of the show, and go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
Man, thank you for that, Jeff. You are our very first guest. It was very important for us to have you. You know, we appreciate what you do for this community. We learn so much from you. So definitely appreciate your time there. But yeah, I mean, the podcast is, it's not, we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves to it being just a reselling podcast. It's a hustle podcast. So what, you know, regardless of what you do, I mean, you could be Amazon, you could be eBay, or you could be something else. You know, you could be flipping cars like I was doing, and just something that people can learn from. And it's kind of like what you do. You know, I know you had like Reyes right before. That was a really fun interview for me, because that was one of the people I first started watching when, you know, during my depression, looking for a side hustle. And then we also want to talk about life. And for example, this episode coming up is about, you know, is money everything? You know, like, is that really like the most important thing? So we want to tackle kind of like deep and serious subjects like that within the reselling community. So we have a structure a little bit, but we also want to like let the guests kind of flow and kind of bounce off of whatever they are saying and see where the conversation takes us. So we're having a lot of fun with that. We're on the, you know, on the Instagram messages and on the phone very often. Me and Louis just kind of figuring out where we're going and how we're going to do it. We're excited. And then my YouTube channel, I mean, it's called 3GenHustle. The reason I started it was I taught my father-in-law how to resell. You know, after I bought the house and all that, he wanted to learn, and he picked it up really quickly. And now he's blooming. He's, you know, sourcing by himself. He's listing by himself and doing very well. And then I'm also teaching my 13-year-old son how to resell, because I feel like there's a lot of things that we don't learn in school, especially me growing up in like a New York City public education. Like, we were never taught about money. We were never taught about taxes, credit, anything like that, business, you know? So I feel like I can use this to kind of teach him, give him that foundation, regardless of where he's going to go in life. Like, I want to give him something that I could pass on that he's not going to learn in school. And then I wanted to share that kind of with the world, like, hey, look, there's an alternative way of learning and teaching your kids. So that's kind of what the channel's about. But now I think I'm just going to kind of change directions and go this magazine route and podcast. Still kind of have some of that in there, but they're both a little shy to get on camera. So it's been a little difficult to kind of get them on and make content with them. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was just talking to my brother on the phone the other day. He has a 4-year-old son, and whenever he sells something, he'll say, hey, go find this remote, go find this DVD or this video game that we sold on eBay. So by the time he's 14, 15, 16 years old, you know what I'm saying, he'll have his own reselling business, and he'll know everything inside and out. And he won't have to be dependent on somebody for a job and say, hey, can you hire me to work at McDonald's or Subway? You know, what if you're 16, 17, 18, 20 years old, and you're making 10 grand a month reselling. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you grew up in that environment and you had somebody tell you everything you need to know A to Z, and be growing up in a household where you have that influence on your life. You're not starting from nothing. You're not having to sit here and say, okay, well, I'm going to go to college, but I don't know what I want to major in. I don't know what I want to do when I get out of school. You know, you don't have all that pressure. You just be like, hey, you know, I want to be an entrepreneur, and I'm going to have multiple different streams of income instead of just depending on your job. There's nothing wrong with working a job if that's, you know, what makes you happy and that's what you want to do. You just need to have multiple different streams of income. So, I want to catch a couple people in the chat. We got Sir Flips a lot is in the chat. Jennifer Hayes is here. Backroad Bitter Chuck is in the house. He says, "Would you encourage your son if he wanted to go into the music industry?"
Yes, 1000%. Actually, some of my videos have his beats, like his music in the background. He already started producing maybe like a year and a half ago. And he just has that natural talent, that natural inclination to the music. And I learned from my father. My father played piano, bass, guitar. He plays all sorts of instruments. That's kind of where I got like my music itch from. And I see he came, you know, he has the bug as well for the music, and I would certainly encourage him, but I would have him learn from the mistakes and everything that happened with me. More on like the psychological part of it. You know, I was just letting myself get consumed by, you know, wasn't really fame, but just being known and notoriety and stuff like that. So I'd kind of warn him on that and kind of guide him, maybe even be his manager and make sure I'm there every step of the way. But I wouldn't discourage it. I never had anyone to really tell me to steer away from these things. So as long as I'm there, absolutely, 1000%.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Sir Flips a lot was saying that y'all's podcast will be live tomorrow, 4:00 Eastern time. So yeah, I had a link in the community section. You guys had like 150 views the last live that you guys did. So he was just plugging to let people know about your channel here. Thrifting After Work says hit the like button. Hyphen Goat says Reyes is the dude. For sure, man. It's, you know, I think it's important, you know, to talk about reselling, but it's also important to bring in other ideas of other things you never thought of before, you know, to bring in other people, other guests on that may not have nothing to do with reselling, but just are people that, you know, have interesting things to talk about. Like when I had Reyes on, you know, he was talking about how he went from, you know, 0 subscribers and now having 400,000 subscribers, and he makes 20 grand a month just from his YouTube channel alone. So, I mean, YouTube could be a business venture as well. So not just being pigeonholed into saying I'm only a reseller or I only sell stuff on eBay or Amazon. So,
Right.
I wanted to ask you, we got some questions in the chat. Sue's along the way says, Julian, how many different platforms do you currently sell on?
Susie, I want to shout her out. We go to the same church, so she lives in the area. She's also a reseller. So shout out to you. I sell on a few platforms. I mean, I just started Amazon. I do eBay. I do still sell on Craigslist. A lot of people sleep on Craigslist. I still sell there, offer up. I also have a perfume business, like colognes, perfumes that I do on Shopify. A lot of people are not aware of that, but it's seasonal, so it picks up maybe September, October, November, and then like second week of December it dies down, picks up again around Valentine's, and then dies down for the rest of the year. But yeah, a couple of different platforms. I haven't explored Poshmark, which is something I want to do this year. I did a little bit of Mercari, but nothing full-fledged like that. So little by little this year, I want to expand to pretty much every platform that you can sell on.
Yeah, it's nice. I like selling stuff locally as well. I was selling on OfferUp, and you know, I think it was a week or so ago, I sold this thing. It was like a DVD VHS player, and I sold it for like $50 cash. So when you sell stuff locally, you know, you don't have to worry about eBay fees or PayPal fees. You don't have to worry about, you know, shipping the item. The dude just showed up and was like, hey, Here's the money. I handed him the item. You know, the whole transaction was like 2 minutes. He went on his day. He was happy, and I was happy. And that was, you know, don't sleep on selling stuff locally, especially if it's a bigger, bulkier, heavier item and it's hard to ship. You know, so it could be a good idea to try to sell stuff locally as well. We had a question. I think I missed it. It was in the chat, and it was from Sir Flips a lot. He wanted to know where you wanted to be at in 10 years from now. He says, what is your long-term goal, and where do you want to be 10 years from now? Like, what's your like lane? Like, what is it that you would like to do? Where you see yourself doing in 5 or 10 years from now down the road?
So it's funny. So I hired my first employee. They start on Monday. So I'm really looking to kind of step away from a lot of the little time-consuming tasks, just like taking pictures, cleaning items, listing, stuff like that, picking, shipping, a lot of those things, because I do want to concentrate on, catching the bigger fish. So eventually with the Amazon stuff, I want a private label. I want a whole line of products. I want to open up even Etsy. So that's kind of where I want to head to, and just have maybe a warehouse with a couple of different employees, and then eventually step away and let my kids run it. I have 3 kids, a 13-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And that's kind of like the plan I have. And that's why I wanted it to be a family business. Whether the kids decide to follow in these footsteps or take over, it's up to them. I'll leave that decision to them, but at least I'll have something that I can build like generational wealth from, and, just kind of pass it down and let it expand, let them do with the brand whatever they feel like doing. But that's my goal, man, to leave that legacy behind and leave something for them. That's the long-term plan.
Yeah, well, that sounds nice to be able to leave stuff behind. Someone told me the other day that when you want to leave something behind, the only thing they want is stocks and real estate. They don't care about your business and all this stuff. They just want to be able to cash in the stocks and real estate and move on. But I don't know if that's true or not. I think if you can pass down knowledge and information, that's something you can pass down as well. So, especially when you can pass down personal firsthand experience and stuff that you've learned along the way, you can say, hey, don't do this. Don't go down this path. Don't go this way, So, hey, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, man. What is, I wanted to find out about, well, you said you bought vehicles at this place. So basically, if somebody didn't pay their traffic tickets, right, or their vehicle got like towed away and then they didn't get it out of the repo lot, then their vehicle would like be sold at auction. Is that how that would work?
Yeah, bro, I'll go into it a little more. Also, like if you get arrested, right? So let's say DUI, or, you have a warrant or whatever it is, you get arrested. They tow your car. They put it in that impound lot. If you owe tickets, you got to pay those tickets. If you were in jail, let's say for a week before you got bailed out or whatever it is, they charge you storage fees. If you can't pay any of that money for whatever reason, after 30 days, they auction it off. So I caught a bunch of cars for $200, $300. I caught like Dodge Neons, Ford Tauruses, Lexuses, Toyotas, Nissans, just a bunch of cars that I could resell. And my goal was really to resell them for $1,000, just quick flips. I wouldn't really do much to it, just take them to the car wash. The bad part about it is they were blind auctions, so you can't turn the car on. They don't have a key. After you buy them, there's a locksmith on site that'll make a key for you. They charge you like $50. And then what I would do, I would just thug it out, bro. In New York, you have 2 license plates, one in the front and one in the back. I'll go with a friend. I'll take one of my license plates in the front, slap it on the back of the car I bought, and just risk it and go home. I call it thugging it out. But, that's what we would do. And we flipped a couple of cars like that. I would get 3 at a time, 2 at a time, whatever I could get my hands on, and just flip them.
Okay, yeah, cool. I just didn't know how they were able to transfer the title to you in your name if they had just repoed the car, and if they didn't like have custody of the vehicle, like if they didn't like have the vehicle in their name and all that. That's what I was curious about. So anyways, let's get back into reselling.
part of it real quick. That you get auction paperwork, and then you take
Yeah.
that, like when you sell the car, you give the person the auction paperwork, and then they register and they get a title. Takes about 30 days. If you want to do it just to, some people don't trust the auction paperwork, then you can do it, register under your name with the auction paperwork, wait 30 days, and then sell the car after 30 days. The only bad part about that is I think you're limited in New York to 12 vehicles per year. So you can't do that. You know, if you're going to be flipping 30, 40, 50 cars a year, you only could do 12 of those.
Yeah, I was going to say you can only do so many of them without having an actual dealer's license, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. So, talk to me about this big pallet that you bought, man. It sounds like that you're really excited about it. Tell everybody about your new pallet. I saw a picture of it on Instagram. I just happened to see it before the show started. So, tell me about this big pallet of merchandise that you got. Where did you get it from? How much did you pay for it? What do you think you're going to be able to sell it for? All the good stuff. Tell us about it.
Yeah, man. It's, for the past couple of months, I feel like there's been a ton of things that I've been wanting to do, and a lot of doors have been closed on me, but then a lot of other doors have been open. The pallet thing just landed on my lap, and I'm a strong believer in God, and I just feel like it was just God kind of guiding my steps. But I was wearing this jersey that I have behind me. I'm a huge fan of Carmelo Anthony. I have his jersey in almost every team. The guy that was behind the counter it was a liquidation store I went to, happened to be a Carmelo Anthony fan as well. We started talking. I told him I'm a reseller. He says, do you have a couple of minutes? Come to the back. What happens is this is a larger chain of liquidation stores all around the country. Most of the other stores around the country are the size of a Walmart. His store is quite smaller. And so he gets 10 pallets per week, but he can only put about 6 in the store because that's what fits. He doesn't want to lose the 10 pallets a week because he plans on, he tries to just sell off the rest of the pallets. So luckily I was able to get one. I only took one. He had 3 available, but I only took one just to see how it goes. I've never done it before. I don't know if there's any type of risk involved or if there's even the amount paid for the pallet in there. So I actually almost didn't make it here because I was returning the U-Haul. It's been a pretty busy morning, but I'm excited. I got everything off of the pickup truck. It's in my garage. So far from what I've seen, because there's a lot of closed boxes, but from what I've seen, I saw an electric fireplace, an ice maker, a ukulele, a ton of diapers, which I know sell pretty well on Amazon. So already with what I've seen, there's more than what I paid for the pallet in merchandise there. So I'm excited to see what else is in the other boxes.
Yeah, for sure. I just went and looked at some pallets yesterday. This guy had a box of Amazon pallet returns. He wanted $700 for the pallet, but I just can't get myself to pull the trigger, bro, because I'm like a low risk person. Like I can buy an item for 50 cents and sell it for $10, or buy an item for $1 and sell it for $20, because I know if worst case scenario, if something happens to the item, if it gets lost in the mail or lost or broken or stolen or something happens to it, I'm like, bro, I'm out 50 cents. It's not the end of the world. If a customer tries to scam you or they want to return the item or whatever. But when you're buying a big pallet of merchandise, you don't know what's all in the pallet. You're kind of getting it blind without a manifest. So you don't know, like you said, you had ukuleles, you're having all kind of stuff in there that you don't know what you're going to get. And you have to test all the merchandise and make sure it all works good. But for you, in your circumstance, I think you said you paid $500 for the pallet, and then you picked it up. It was 5 minutes down the road from your house. So you didn't have to pay all extra for shipping and all that. So I'm hoping that it'll work out for you, because think about it like this, man. If you paid, let's say you paid $500 for the pallet, okay? All you need to do is you could find 50 items that sell for $10 and you get your money back, or you can find 25 items that sell for at least $20 and then you can get your $500 back that way. And anything above and beyond that will be profit margin. So, So I mean, it can be profitable if you're willing to jump in head first. It's just not everybody's willing to do that. Because to me, in my brain, I know I could take my $500 and invest it in something that's a for sure thing, you know, that where I know that I'm going to get my money back and I could get, you know, 10, 15, 20x on my money. And I could get stuff brand new in the shrink wrap. And I don't have to worry about having to clean it and test it and all that stuff. But like I said, everybody's business model is different, man. You have to check back in with us in a month or so and let me know how the pallet is. And the cool thing is you only bought one. You didn't buy 10 pallets. You just said, let me buy one, kind of test the waters, see what it's like, see what we're working with, seeing if this is going to be profitable, and try it out and see if you like it or not, right?
Yeah, yeah. And if it is, bro, I'll take everything off his hands. You know what I mean? Like if he could get me more, man, I'll take everything. I'm kind of opposite. So like I buy stuff in lots really, and I pay up. Like you know, most recently I bought a G scale train lot for $1,000. I made maybe close to $6,000 on that entire lot. I bought 400 Hot Wheel cars. I mean, I buy stuff like that, just big amounts. And I think before, because I was part-time and my time was so limited, like I would look at big margin, big profit items, even if I had to pay up for them and I knew there was money in it, just because I wasn't full-time. I could only dedicate certain amount of hours. So I needed to maximize my profits. It's just, you know, what worked for me at that time. Now I'm learning, and even though I've been doing it for a while, I was part-time. So, and I feel like I'm always learning something new. I realized that if you have smaller items, that stimulates your store to kind of sell some of the bigger items. So kind of having both, a mix of both, is really good for eBay, for the algorithm.
Yeah, man, I've noticed that if you just sell like a little $10, $15 item, it's like it triggers the computer algorithm, and all of a sudden it'll be like a domino effect, and you might sell 5 or 6 of them back to back to back to back to back. And
Right.
so, like I said, everybody has a different business model. I wanted to catch a few people in the chat. We got Butterfly Hustles is here. We have Zombie Bargain Hunter says, "Hey Jeff, finally caught you live." Hey Zombie Bargain Hunter, man, we're glad to have you here. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us today. Hyphen Gold says, "Picture looking hella crisp." I don't know what picture he's talking about. And I wanted to say hi to Wendy here, and the Flippin' Sports guy. He says, "Jen, do you have a spreadsheet of everyone to keep sharing their channels?" No, Jennifer just has it like in her brain. She just has everything memorized. She's just that good. So I wanted to ask you, man, Julian. So, man, this is the thing, bro. Since you just bought this big pallet of merchandise, don't even open it yet. You should wait till you get home, get it in your garage, and then film you unboxing it, man. Because I've seen videos on YouTube that has 100,000 views just from people unboxing the pallets of merchandise. So if that's your first pallet, like, for real, man. Have you seen guys like Franchise Kicks and some of those guys? They're getting 50,000, 100,000 views on the pallet. So what they do is they all whatever money they spent on that pallet of merchandise, they make that money back from YouTube ad revenue. The YouTube ad revenue pays for that pallet of merchandise, and then all the money that they make from selling the merchandise is profit, because they get so many views of people want to see, oh, what's in this pallet, what's in these customer returns. So since you have a YouTube channel, I would go ahead and do it like that. And I'm telling you, man, if you did that, I don't know, once a week or once a month, your channel will blow up from where you're at now, and you would instantly get, 1,000, 2,000 subscribers probably within 6 months. Because there's people that dig that content, just like there's people that want to see people that bought storage lockers and they want to see what's in these storage lockers. You could do something like that. Say, hey, man, this is it. You still have the shrink wrap covering the top of the box, and then just like either you film it or somebody else film you cutting the box open and just show them one by one what you pulled out of the skid, and say, this is how much I paid for it. And then on the side, you can be like, hey, I'm $500 in the hole. This is what we have to do to break even. And then kind of film it almost like you're filming a reality TV show. There's people that would love that, man. For real, there's a community of people that love doing that.
Yep. I had the GoPro on me the whole time. So even like putting it in the truck and all that, everything was, you know what I'm saying, was being filmed with that purpose. I already had that in the back of my mind as well. But I like that idea where it's like, I'm 500 in a hole. This is what I got to do to break even. So I'm definitely applying that to the video.
Yeah, you've seen shows like on History Channel or A&E, and they'll show one like the side of the screen. It'll be like $500 red, and then as you pull out items, you slowly get back into the green because people love following the process of that of saying, "Hey, man, you know, you've seen that TV show A&E Extreme Unboxings." I've had people, the Family Flips. Walter was on the show, so people, there's a whole TV shows just dedicated to that. And since you have the hookup and it's 5 minutes down the street from your house, you could just make a whole series of doing that. And man, just from the ad revenue of people coming by to watch you do these unboxings, that'll help blow your channel up quick. So yeah,
Yeah,
somebody said
the idea.
Hyphen Goat said extreme unboxings. It'll be 3GenHustle unboxings. That's what we'll call it, man. So tell me, man. So talk to me about it. I caught one of your live streams. I think it was a week or so ago, and people were saying that you got money together to buy a house, and then you got one of your family members and helped them buy a house. So talk a little bit about the process. Did you like help them get their credit score together and get money for the down payment? Like, how do you go about helping somebody saying, "Hey, man, I've got no money for together for a down payment." Someone maybe who is renting a house or an apartment to where they can go and get money together to buy their own house. You want to talk a little bit about the process of how you go about doing that and how you were able to help other people do that?
Yeah, man. So the very first thing I did was just make that conscious decision to get out of debt. So I traded in a car that I was making payments on for a hoopty. Man, I didn't care what no one said. You know, I was riding around in this rinky dinky, you know, like old Nissan car. You know, the muffler had a hole in it, so it sounded like a race car. But then when you turn around and look at it, it's like this old car. But, you know, I had a goal in mind, you know, like I really wanted a house. I canceled all my credit cards. I paid off any balance I had, and then I also paid off anything I had in kind of like collections, just so my credit could get a little higher. My goal was 650 because I knew I could get a pretty decent interest rate if I got my credit score to that much. I wanted to improve it a little more, but that was like kind of where I started because I was really, really low. I was like, I don't know, 480, 520. It was really, really bad. I did a lot of research on how credit works, how do credit card companies report, like when they report, how you should only have maybe 15% or less of usage on the card, but show some usage. So I did a lot of research on that and just started building my credit. Once I was able to pay everything off, I knew in time that would keep growing as I made on-time payments, no more late marks or anything like that. And then I just started saving money, and I went super hard on eBay. I mean, I would bring, you know, the whole SUV full of items from the flea market, clean them up, fill them up. And we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. It was me, my wife. My little one wasn't born yet, but I made her work. I stacked them up on top of the dog crate. I saved about $36,000 within like that 2.5 year mark. And I was able to use that towards a down payment, towards closing. So, you know, it was amazing. You know, we used a FHA loan where you only really got to put minimum 3.5%. I put a little more just so my monthly payment could be a little better. But there's a ton of information out there if, you know, you have similar goals and, you know, you want some advice on what I did, you know, I can definitely give that to you. But I'm by no means any expert, but I kind of did everything on my own by just kind of researching. And you know, now we're in a beautiful 5-bedroom home. We're renovating the first floor. I'm debt free, you know, and I have some money to play with and, you know, try a palette and stuff like that. But, you know, the first thing, and I think the base of all of this is eliminating debt, you know, and not kind of falling into like the keeping up with the Joneses kind of mentality. I cut all my social media off because mentally I'm weak with that. Like if I see somebody I know that has something, or before I would say now I'm a little different, but I just had to cut off all that influence out. And that's kind of like the process that I took in order to achieve purchasing my house. And then my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, they observed me and my wife kind of doing that and hustling and grinding. And then that's when I started teaching him how to do eBay. And then he started doing it. And, you know, they recently purchased the house as well. So shout out to them. So it's possible, bro. It's possible. There's money in this, and as long as you put in the work, you put in the effort, the fruit of your labor will show.
Yeah, man. It's amazing what you can do, and you don't have any payments. You're not paying $400 or $500 a month car payments, and you don't have student loans and credit card bills, and you don't have all these extra payments going everywhere. It's funny that some people will work 40, 50, 60 hours at a job, get their paycheck on Friday, and come back Monday. They have no idea what happened to their paycheck, where their money went, and they're starting back over from zero again. That don't make no sense to me. I'm just saying this in general. I think there's like over 70% of our economy that lives that paycheck to paycheck mentality. And it's like, thank God it's Friday and oh crap, it's Monday type of deal. And you just running around in circles like a dog chasing your tail. And you're just like, what are you actually getting accomplished? Like, what are you actually getting crossed off your checklist where you're saying, okay, I'm this much further along this week or this month than I was last month? You know what I'm saying? Not running around repeating the same week over and over and over again. It's like that movie Groundhog Day where the dude woke up every day and every day was the same. He had the same mindset, the same routine, living the same life every day. And there's so many people that's like that, doing that every day. And the worst part about it is they get up and go to a job that they don't like, with coworkers they don't like, with a boss they don't like, just to get a check, and also they can do it again next week. So anyway, that's I get on these rants sometimes. I'm not trying to pick on nobody. That's just how I am. So
that's true. I want to add to that statement though. Like at the end of that, you have to add to buy things for people who don't care about what you have. You know what I'm saying? So
it was just like earlier you said that you're just like, I'm just going to buy this hoopty vehicle and not have any car payments. I don't care what nobody says or thinks about my car. The purpose of this car is to get you from point A to point B. That's the purpose of having a car. So it's kind of like, that's like where I'm at. I'm like, okay, the purpose of me having this house is to have a roof over my head. So I'm like, I'm cool with paying $350 a month in rent instead of $1,200 a month for rent. Because when you go home and you close your eyes, what matters? What does it matter? You know what I'm saying? You're going to be sleeping for 8 hours. So it doesn't matter what kind of curtains it is or nothing. As long as you're in a safe neighborhood and you're happy there, what difference does it make, right? So everything don't have to be perfect. You don't have to drive a 2020 model vehicle. You don't have to live in the most expensive neighborhood because, like I said earlier, if you don't have all these extra payments going out the window every month, it's amazing how much you'll have money left over to invest in buying pallets of merchandise because you're not paying $500 a month car payments. So I just wanted to catch up with some people in the chat. Wendy's in the chat. She says rinse and repeat method, 9 to 5 grind. Butterfly Hustles is here. She said, just curious to know, what is your most profitable flip that you've had? And we have Milk Cap is in the house. He says, hey, 3GenHustle, I'm your newest subscriber. So it looks like you got some new subscribers coming your way to come by and check you out. So do you want to talk a little bit about your reselling game? She says, what is your most profitable flip that you've ever had?
Yes, I'll talk about that. Milcap, thank you so much for subscribing. I really, really appreciate it. Most profitable item was a Atari Jaguar CD. It was like an Atari Jaguar with another contraption that goes on top, kind of like a Sega CD that goes inside of the Sega unit. And that sold, both of those items sold for $1,500. I caught that off of a storage locker where I got a ton of other items. So that was my most profitable.
Yeah, I think the most expensive thing I've sold on eBay before was a truck. I sold a truck for $20,000 on eBay. That was the most expensive item I ever sold. But I mean, you can get merchandise and stuff everywhere. I think last year I sold this video game I paid 50 cents for it, and it sold for $200. So you just never know. But most of the items that I sell are under $25, $30. They're an item that maybe I paid $1 for and sold for $20, $25. But there are big flips out there that's like that. So, so you're in the pallet game. What other things is it that particular that you like flipping? I saw your YouTube video where you were flipping video games. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, video games. I love flipping them because they have so much value. Especially I like garage sales and yard sales. People don't really know what they have. So there's certain items. I mean, I wish I could be at Hyphy Gold level because he's the video game god, but I dibble and dabble a little bit in video games. I look for Pokemon. I know has a lot of value, a lot of the Super Mario, the older retro video games. I love those. But I really enjoy selling pretty much like rare things. So I did a lot of the G scale trains. Some of my videos show some of those sales. I mean, I'm selling box cars for $300. Another thing I stumbled across this summer, and I don't know if you guys know about it, but the Limax houses for Christmas. There are some that are for Halloween. They're called Spooky Town. I came across maybe 15 of them. I bought them in a lot for about $280, I believe. And I sold each one of them for 200, 300 plus each one of them. So that's a bolo right there that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about. If you guys don't know about it, I actually might have one left here, but yeah, I love flipping rare things like that people don't really know about. I did really well with some Dungeons and Dragon books.
Yeah.
First edition, second edition, just stuff like that. Stuff that's weird, rare. Maybe I'm not familiar with it. A lot of other people might be, but I enjoy stuff like that. Just I'm a person who likes to learn in general, so I think that's what I find exciting when I'm making money and learning about something. I think those are my favorite things to flip.
Okay, awesome. I wanted to say hi to some people in the chat. We got Derek is here hanging out with us from Fundamentals of Side Hustling. We got Tesla Picker is in the house. So if you guys didn't get a chance, say Tesla Picker, man. I saw your hangout. You were on with Drew from Profit Monsters last night. So I saw you guys live stream for like a minute. Then I went back to sleep, bro, because I've been working the past 3 days at my job. They drove me all over the state. I was straight exhausted. I was just I'm going to let my body get caught up on about 10 hours of sleep, because if you go, I'll have 3 days back to back where I get 4 hours of sleep. And then finally I'm just I'm going to go ahead and get caught up on my rest. So
yeah.
That's just it. I'm trying to get my sleep. So I wanted to say hi to Tesla Picker. Wendy is here hanging out. Hyphen Gold is here. And Julian Flips. Annie is here hanging out. It says, hi, Julian. We had a question in the chat. I think I missed it. I didn't do it on purpose. It says, it's right here from Baldy Picking. He asked a question. He says, are you running a small USB mixer with that mic? He says, you have really good sound quality.
No, no mixer. This goes straight into my MacBook Pro. And that's it. I actually caught this from the spot where I got the pallets from. It was a liquidation store. I was looking for a mic, and I actually got a Shure mic. It was like $300 from Guitar Center. I came home and started looking at the reviews for this mic. It came with the pop filter, with the boom stand, everything together, and a pair of headphones for $56 at the liquidation store. And I thought, the brand, I'm not even really familiar with the brand. So I looked it up on Amazon. I was going to try to flip it, and it had phenomenal reviews. And I said, you know what, I'm keeping this and returning the $300 mic. So I appreciate that. It sounds pretty good.
Okay, awesome. So, man, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, there's two things I wanted to talk to you about. First, I watched your video when you were talking about holding out to get a higher price for items on eBay. You talk about maybe some tips or tricks to help people make more sales or make more money on eBay. Do you have any of that? You can kind of drop some knowledge on us today?
Yeah, man, I love talking about that. I am the offer decline god. I will decline every single offer. I don't care. And sometimes I get into these heated arguments with other resellers about it, but I believe in my product, and whenever I list or I'm looking for the price of an item, I'll sort from highest price to lowest, and I'll see what the highest amount that anybody got, and I'll put mine for $5 or $10 higher, just because if somebody was willing to pay $60 for this item, they're willing to pay $65, and I'll wait. I don't care. I'll wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months, but it'll sell. I just feel like it's a better use of my time, better profit, and to each their own, but it's just something that works for me. I'm not pressed for the money, so I can wait for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are pressed for the money and you're doing this for a living and you got bills to pay, then totally understand. I did that when I was first starting out too. Now that I'm a little bit more comfortable, I'm able to wait it out. And I heard I actually got that from Craigslist Hunter. He'll say, "I'll wait for the right buyer," especially when he posts like his vintage electronics. He's like, I'll just wait for the right buyer." And that's kind of where I got it from. But yeah, one of the things I do that one of the things I use to kind of boost my sales and get the highest prices, I pay a lot of attention to my pictures. I'm not speeding through my listings. And that's just because I come from a marketing, branding background, right? So like I used to consult for up and coming artists. So, they would see me working with big name artists and they want to kind of get on that level. The first thing I would tell them is, first of all, your images are horrible. They're on a phone, like they're not professional. So you're not even giving out like this level of artistry. And so that's like the first thing I would tell them. So I kind of apply all of those skills that I learned into the reselling. So I'll take my time with the lighting. Even if it's a small item, I don't care. I'll take 12 pictures. I call it building trust in your listing. I think reselling, there's a lot of psychology behind it, especially eBay, right? They're not purchasing from a big box store, so sometimes people are hesitant to kind of buy from you. So I'll use the pictures to my advantage. I'll put up to 60-day returns. And in the 4 years that I've been selling, I could count on one hand the amount of returns that I have had. Sometimes I'll do free shipping just, based on competition. There's another thing that I use. Seller pays for the return. So all those little things. I know if you put like 30 days return or more and you fulfill within 1 day. Oh, that's another thing, fulfilling the order within 1 day. If you can do it, I suggest that you do it because we're competing with Amazon. We're competing with all these other companies that are shipping things out really quickly. So I think, people are used to that instant gratification. So if you can ship items out within 1 day, they're more likely to purchase from you. But if you do that combination of 30-day return at the minimum and ship within 1 day, you get that badge, top seller plus, right? You get
he's
plus.
talking about top rated seller plus. Yeah, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, there you go. Top rated seller plus. And I believe those little cues, right, psychologically to the customer help, right? So they're going to see someone who's not a top seller, then they're going to see someone who's a top seller, and then they're going to see someone that's a top seller plus. They're going to trust buying from you as opposed to everyone else. If you have 12 pictures, you fill out all those boxes, and somebody has 2 or 3 pictures, they're going to buy from you. If you have nice pictures with a solid background, it's not on a table with a mess in the background, you know what I'm saying? It shows that you care for your item. So I use all those little things, keywords, just to kind of help me sell higher. I call it leveling up. So you level up your listing, and people will pay a premium for they just trust you more.
Yeah, I put out a video about 2 weeks ago, and it was like my top 10 tips to help you make more sales on eBay. So if you guys didn't get a chance to check it out, I talk a lot about a lot of the same things that Julian is saying now. Invest in better lighting, take better photos. Put an or best offer on. Maybe if I have an item for $20, I'll put or best offer on. But if you're not going to offer me at least $18, it'll just auto decline. Because that's like, I bought this item with the intent to resell it for $20. I'll give you, 5 or 10% off the item just to try to make the sale. But, I'm not going to go drop it and sell it for 10 or 12 or 15. So stuff like that, there's little things you can do. Send offers out to watchers, take good photos, have good lighting. All that stuff is important. So I wanted to give a shout out to my man, Derek, for Fundamentals to Side Hustling. He says, I appreciate you all hustling. You dropped $4.99 super chat, bro. We appreciate you for coming by and hanging out. And if you guys didn't get a chance to see his show that he does on Wednesday nights, this Hump Day Hangout, you guys should go by and check out his show. They had some good guests on the other night. So Anyways, Julian, man, we don't have much more time, but I want you to talk about a little bit about your goals that you have for yourself this year for 2021, because we're just in January. People, this year is just beginning. There's a lot of potential, a lot of things that we can do and get done and get knocked out, not hit a home run and knock it out of the park. And you just talked about earlier about how you dip your toe into buying pallets of merchandise and you're hiring your first employee. So talk a little bit about that, what some of your goals or some of your plans that you have this year for 2021.
Yeah, man, I have a couple of things in the works. Really trying to step away from the little tedious tasks. So hiring an employee, I want to get maybe 2 or 3 employees by the end of the year. I'm heavy into the retail arbitrage right now. I've been working closely with a company called BrickSeek. Some of you might have heard of it. But trying to help them expand, getting more people aware of what they do. They're a phenomenal resource for retail arbitrage, and I've been using them a lot. I got my wife involved. So trying to scale the business more. So more Amazon, more eBay, but stepping away from the time-consuming tasks, getting some help for that. And then on the other side, me and Sir Flips a lot, we got the podcast going. We got the magazine for resellers that we're about to come out with. I want to put a lot of time into that. Pallets, selling on multiple marketplaces, just growing in general and taking this to another level. Hopefully I can get my first what do you call private label item for Amazon. I don't know if I'll be able to do that this year, but hopefully I could work towards it. So that's kind of where I'm heading into in 2021. That's my goals, and I'll keep you guys updated, growing my YouTube channel as well, and we'll see where this journey takes us, because you could plan and plan and plan, and just from prior experience, things never go according to plan. But I'm excited. I stay positive during those lows, so just I don't know, just stay positive, really. Like I said, sometimes when doors close, kind of like when I fell into that depression because the doors closed on me in the music side, and I just kind of left that, and I didn't know what my identity was or who I was as a person or how I was going to be going forward. I'm loving, this community. Everybody's so supportive. I'm so much more happier. And in 2021, I'm prioritizing happiness over everything. Happiness is a currency. Time is a currency. Make sure you're spending those wisely. So that's my 2021 little rant.
Okay, awesome. So, man, I hope your YouTube channel gets monetized this year. First of all, go ahead and plug your channel. Tell everybody where they can find you at on YouTube and Instagram. I have your links dropped in the description down below. Tell them where they can find you at.
Yeah, it's 3GenHustle on both. So Instagram 3GenHustle. YouTube 3GenHustle. I'm new, so be easy on me. I just started about 2 months ago with the video, so I'm learning.
Okay, awesome. Hey, I wanted to give a shout out to my man Sir Flips a lot. He says dropping super chat should be more common in this community. Hey, man, we appreciate you, man. And if you guys didn't get a chance to check out their podcast, they have a live show. I think tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern. So you guys get a chance. Yeah, go by and check out their podcast that they have. It's going to be 4 p.m. in afternoon tomorrow with you and Sir Flips a lot. I wanted to catch the Far North Life is in the chat. Hyphen Gold is here. Zombie Bargain Hunter gave me 3 thumbs up. I appreciate that, bro, man. Thank you for coming out. I wanted to say hi to Butterfly Hustles and Fundamentals of Side Hustling. And then we got Souls Along the Way says, thanks for blessing us today with all this great info and encouragement. Yeah, that's a big thing that we didn't really talk about a lot today. But if you're down and out, or you're in a bad place, or you're having a rough time, there's nothing wrong with reaching out, talking to somebody. You can hit somebody up on Instagram and say, hey, man, hey, how are you doing? How was your day going? We're here to help each other out. If you're struggling with something, just reach out and talk to somebody and say, hey, man, I'm having a rough day. Whatever it is, I had a flat tire. I had 5 returns today. Just talk to somebody. You don't close up and clam up and keep it all inside and kind of feel like you got the world on your shoulders. Talk to other people. So
Yeah.
anyways, I want to thank our guest, 3GenHustle, for hanging out with me today. And I want to thank all you guys in the chat for coming by and hanging out. So we appreciate you guys. I'm taking the weekend off Saturday, Sunday. I've got a few projects that I'm working on. So I'm not going to have any videos this weekend, but I'll catch you guys next week. And you guys have a great and safe weekend, man. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Jeff, thanks so much, brother.
All right. I appreciate you guys. Bye.